Since I primarily watch a lot of Ravens film, I've been able to see film of Cooper Kupp for the last 4 weeks. Their game against the Bucks last week, their win over the Cardinals in week 1 of the playoffs, and then their final 2 regular season games, one against the 49ers, a 27-24 loss, and then their game against the Ravens, the comeback win that they had in Baltimore. Numbers don't tell the whole story, really, to be honest with you. I mean, you can go over any number you want. He's had more than 5 catches in every game but 2 this season. Ironically, both of those were against Arizona. They didn't need a huge impact from him in the playoff game because they, really blew Arizona out. 183 yards, 9 receptions, and a touchdown last week against Tampa Bay. Could have very easily been 2 touchdowns on that late game catch that he had to set up the game-winning field goal. Only 5 catches, like I said, against Arizona, but they didn't need him to do much. The week before that, the final week of the regular season, 7 catches for 118 and a touchdown against San Francisco. He's really lit them up, but I don't really want to start this video film study with his receptions, to be honest with you. It's going to be started in a boring place, talking about his blocking. He's a complete football player, and I think people have known that for a long time. I'm going to show you 2 blocks that I think illustrate how physical he is and his commitment to technique and playing on a particular angle. There's more plays I could have shown you than just these 2 to illustrate his blocking, but I chose these 2 because I thought they gave the most weight to his impact in the run game. This is a stretch play to his side, up the top side of the field against the Bucks, and he just decks a badass inside linebacker named Devin White. I mean, name the wide receivers in NFL history who've had 100 well, I mean, he had 145 actually, right? 145 receptions. Here he is right here, and who've ever had a block like this on a top 10 caliber inside linebacker in the NFL, no matter what era. I don't know. I mean, hell, let's drop it down to 80 catches. Who's the receivers that have had 80 catches in a year that you can think of that have ever delivered a block that decleats a 240, 240 pound starting inside linebacker for a defending Super Bowl champion team? Devin White's a hell of an athlete. And look, in one-on-one situation in tight space where Devin White is focused on Cooper Kupp, no. Cooper Kupp's not going to knock him down like this. But the fact is he did it, and it's on film. And it allowed them, look, the center did a great job as well. All right, getting out here, pulling out to the outside. It is a stretch play. The center's pulling. He's uncovered. You got one inside linebacker, so there's some kind of built-in rule there for him to pull. And the Rams are a great stretch team. We know that out of 11 personnel. It is notable to me how often they run to Cooper Kupp's side when he is lined up as a slot. And again, I've only focused this film study on 4 games. I know there's probably other film of them running away from him. So the second stretch play I'm going to show you, here's Cooper Kupp. Typically, 11 personnel teams are going to run stretch to the side of the tight end because he's going to be a guy who's more used to, and he does O-line drills every day. There's not a whole lot of slots that they're utilized in the league in this manner. They're usually running the stretch to this side, and the slot is the backside cutoff guy for this edge player while the quarterback is booting. So they're really putting this backside edge player in a lot of conflict because he doesn't know if it's stretch or if it's boot. And obviously the backside cutoff guy knows whether it's a run play or whether he's going to slide back out the back door into the flat. So, and Cooper Kupp is great at that too, don't get me wrong. But anyway, the ball is going to be cut up inside here inside, so it's not going to get out to Kupp and the left tackle, who's doing a great job here as well. I think the DB or strong safety, whatever, rolled up, number 25. I'm not sure what position he is. Looks kind of big, actually, to be a DB. I think he might be locked up in man on Kupp because he stays hung on to him a long time. But I think this gives you an illustration of how committed he is to running at the angle he's supposed to run at and trusting that the left tackle, which I think is Whitworth, is going to be there at the correct time. And you can see, that the running back cuts this back, and I understand why, but clearly we have the benefit of time and being able to slow it or pause it to see that there was a big hole developing there inside of the left tackle and Kupp's block. There's a huge lane there. There's no edge being set really at all. And again, going back, slot receivers to me, from what I think I know about stretch teams, are typically the backside cutoff guy. If you think about how Tennessee does it, the Titans run a lot of their stuff away from the slot, and those guys are the backside cutoff guys. Or they run duo, and those guys are just involved in helping block the edge player. I thought these 2 plays illustrated what he's capable of in the run game. Obviously, there's a whole lot more plays that I could have used. I know that run blocks, run plays aren't, sexy to a lot of people. I get that. But that's still what creates a winning atmosphere is players blocking for each other. Stars, stars. He's a star blocking for each other. So let's go to some of the pass plays. This is late in the game. I think Tampa Bay has just tied it at 24 all on the fourth down rushing touchdown by Leonard Fournette. And Matthew Stafford's just been sacked. So I think we've got 35 seconds left. And Cooper Kupp beats cover two man. So you've got two safeties back here. It's the two cover two part of it. And then we are man here, man here, man here, and man here. All right. And then I believe that this linebacker has that tight end man as well. So it's got cover two man, and the Bucs are trying to limit the big play, obviously. And Kupp beats cover two man. He does a great job on this route all the time. Sometimes he takes this route further in towards the center of the field, but it's a trail man technique by the Bucs. They use this actually in the Super Bowl a lot. 23 is a hell of a corner, if you ask me, and he's trailing on the outside hip right now. So he's just trailing, trying to make the quarterback throw it over the top. And Kupp does such a nice job of selling the vertical and giving just a little touch to the inside. That little step to the inside, for whatever reason, maybe it's the hand contact that the DB has. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it causes the DB to fall down. Stafford sees it and delivers the football. Great route. Not only is it a great route, not only is it a great throw and great catch, but it gets him out of bounds. 20-yard gain after a sack. Play began with 35 seconds left in the game. Kupp is able to get out of bounds with 27 seconds left. So sick job of selling the vertical up the hash, and the trailing DB obviously fell down, trying to keep up with him. It's difficult to keep up with him. He's physical in the run game, which I think I showed you in the first two plays, and I think he actually plays to the contact when he's running his routes. He's not a receiver who's going to complain about contact. I think he actually searches for the contact. I think he uses it in that play there to his advantage. Very next play, 27 seconds left. And the Rams are very nearly in field goal range, obviously, to win the game. And so now the Bucs have transitioned from, all right, let's just keep everything in front, cover two man, try to make them throw the ball over the top of the trailing, the DBs in trail man technique, and limit the big play, to now they're going to go cover zero. And they're going to bring 5 or 6, depending on what this back does. This back stays in the block, so all these guys rush. All right, you get a 6-man rush off the edge, and it's a fatal mistake by the Bucs, obviously, because Cooper Kupp beats Antoine Winfield Jr. badly. This could have gone for 6. I mean, this really could have gone for 6. But I think Stafford recognizes, I think Stafford sees this safety, and he knows, I'm going to have Kupp, who's going to beat this guy, so I don't want to overthrow him. So he just puts it where it won't be incomplete, but Kupp will still have a great opportunity to catch the ball. You can see that they're in man there, right? Man here, that's the safety. That's the safety I think Stafford was reading a moment ago. This guy was going to be in man, I believe, but nobody showed. The running back didn't show. We got man here. We're rewinded a little bit so you can see where the safety came from. I talked about it a moment ago. I think once Stafford sees him give away the middle of the field, so the middle of the field is now open. Once he sees this safety clear, he knows where he's going with the football. And again, he's not trying to overthrow it because he doesn't want an incomplete pass where it could have been a huge gain. And all they needed was a field goal. They didn't need a touchdown. But this very easily could have been 6 points if you ask me. You get the end zone angle here. You'll see how much, you can tell from the all-22 how much space there is. The Bucs, just a poor call by them, not having any safety back to help at all. But of course, they only needed 17 yards or 16 yards to be in field goal range. Bucs were kind of broken there, if you ask me. You can see some body language by the players before the play that illustrates they were done playing football. Way too easy for Kupp and Stafford. So they would go on to win the game. 2 plays later, 27-24 win that was fueled and capped, as I showed you, by Cooper Kupp. But earlier, he had a long touchdown catch against the Bucs cover 2 that I think was well documented by a lot of people. You got right before the play, you got some communication between this safety and the corner, and clearly they did not play it well. So Kupp beat their cover 2 here, cover 2 zone. He beat their cover 2 man that I showed you on the first play. He beat their cover 0 that I just showed you on the previous play, to set up the game-winning field goal. he just beat multiple versions of their zone. A couple of his catches down in the red zone versus the Cardinals coming up next. Look, he's effective everywhere. He's effective against pretty much everyone. Like I said, the only team that has held him down at all really is the Cardinals in terms of overall numbers. Now here he is right here, and this DB actually does a good job. This is a third down, and he keeps him out of the end zone. Cardinals have held him to 5 catches and I think 64 yards one game and maybe 61 or 62 yards another game. But previewing the game, the NFC Championship game against San Francisco, 2 games against the San Francisco defense, which is a hell of a defense if you ask me. He's got 18 catches on 20 targets, 240 yards total, I believe, in those 2 games against the 49ers. 2 losses, of course. First loss was bad, 31-11, 30-11, and then the second one was obviously close the last week of the regular season. So look, there's very little evidence that he's going to get held down at all. You've got him beating multiple coverages. Here's that same route I talked about earlier. He's going to push this in towards the hash. Takes it in a little further than the earlier play that I showed you, and then brings it back to the outside. This safety, instead of sitting on top for whatever reason, so just whatever coverage the Niners have, he's dropping down and vacates this whole area of the field, and Kupp takes advantage of it. You just can't do this to his side of the field when he's in the slot because of this route right here. He's excellent at that route. And then, conversely, against the Bucs, he beat him on that skinny post, so the safeties have to honor that as well. I'm just really not sure what you play against this team in some of these empty situations. When they go empty, there's no threat of the run. I understand that, but the route tree for Kupp, to me, looks so dangerous when you draw some of it up. And we know that he does, a lot of this stuff too, this China out or whip route, whatever people want to call it. We know he's dangerous over the middle too. There's just, the route tree is so dangerous for Kupp. I feel like you have to keep a safety over the top. And then with OBJ being there as well and other talented guys, Jefferson, they're going to be a difficult match team to match up with. Maybe I'll jinx them. I just don't know how the 49ers match up. But people have been underestimating the 49ers for 3 or 4 weeks now. So anyway, here's a similar type route, but this is against zone. Kupp is here, and this inside linebacker does a nice job of walling him to the outside. But there's no one to play the outbreaking route because the DB's getting run off. So I like the physicality. Me being a defensive guy, I like the physicality of the linebacker, but there's no one to bracket that into. The Bucs tried everything, if you ask me, against the Rams, and they really didn't have a whole lot of answers other than playing for turnovers. Here he is up here in the bunch. Again, it's empty, which seems to me have become an extremely dangerous formation for the Rams, especially Cooper Kupp with all the yak that he gets here. I was talking about his route tree earlier. Here he is running across the middle, and you got, I think this is Simmons, I believe, is playing for the interception instead of, well, I guess you can't knock people out today in today's NFL. You got such a small target area, but Simmons is clearly in position to make some kind of play, but he goes for the pick, and that was a poor decision, obviously. Empty formation, like I said, I'm looking for that against the 49ers, see how they play it. I expect the 49ers to bring 4 in pressure. I don't think that the math works out in your favor when you're facing teams that have talented receivers like these guys do. In Jefferson, in Kupp, and anybody really. I don't think the math works out in your favor when you bring 5. I just feel like there's too much field to cover horizontally, so sideline to sideline, and too many lanes to throw the ball in that you're just not able to cover with 6 guys. I feel like the Rams take advantage of people by going empty. Stafford is obviously no run threat. I don't think the numbers work out in your favor when you're bringing 5. That's one of the first things I'm going to look for watching the 49ers-Rams game is how many people are the Niners bringing against empty, because I feel like Cooper Kupp, and the other receivers as well, but Cooper Kupp specifically in empty is just too dangerous to bring 5 guys and leave all that space into. Let me know what you guys think of the video breakdown. I was requested to take a look at some Cooper Kupp film, and so I just focused on the last 3 games. Obviously, I had film from the Baltimore game as well, but I wanted to get this one out quick. Very interesting player, obviously very interesting and extremely effective offense. Fun to watch. I haven't had the time to study their formations and any tendencies that I think I see yet, to be honest with you. Just haven't seen enough film. I generally focused on Cooper Kupp plays where he was targeted or where he was run blocking at the point of attack in this video. Let me know what you guys think of the video in the comment section.